everyone, welcome back to Risa Does Makeup. Today's video is covering a subject that has been highly requested by my viewers for quite a long time. I wish I had gotten to doing it sooner. I don't know why I haven't done it sooner, but what I'm going to be sharing with you today is how to put together an eyeshadow look. I know a lot of you watching YouTube videos are very experienced with makeup. You love to play, you love to watch a YouTube tutorial and copy the look, but a lot of you still watch YouTube videos and are still overwhelmed, confused, intimidated, and really want someone that will go back to the basics. One of the things I hear a lot is that when you get a new eyeshadow palette home, you stare at it and you think, I don't know where to start. So what do? You come onto YouTube, you look for tutorials, but a lot of times the YouTuber, the content creator might be a different age, a different skin tone, have a different shape of eye than you. And it becomes frustrating when you can't achieve the same look. When I do tutorials, I usually focus on the technique and the color placement, but not how I selected those colors. So that's why I decided to film this video. I'm going to be showing you using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina palette. It's just one that I grabbed that I think is very popular that a lot of you might own. So what I've done in this video is I've created two eyeshadow looks. I've taken them from more daytime, easy one eyeshadow looks down to, well, this right here. But when you get to the end of the video, you'll see that one eye is different than the other eye. I just wanted to even them up for this intro. But throughout the video and the demonstration, I will be giving you little tips and tricks for choosing the colors, even choosing an eyeshadow palette. I will tell you what my thought process is when I choose to purchase a palette, how I decide what colors to use. So if you're interested in a makeup lesson on how to put together an eyeshadow look, then please keep on watching. So as soon as I purchase a new palette and I bring it home and I go to use it for the first time, first thing I do is think about what I'm going to be doing that day. What type of look do I want? Do I want just something to throw on that I can wear to the grocery store or perhaps to your work? Something that will just emphasize my eyes, maybe bring out my eye color, add a little mascara, have it be super simple, just 2-3 minutes out the door. That's usually pretty easy because honestly, a lot of eyeshadow looks, just polished, quick, eye-enhancing looks can be done with 1 or 2 eyeshadows. It's a lot more simple than people think. And using this Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina palette as an example, for me, I would either take the shade Volatile or Passion and put it all around my eye. And I'm going to show you exactly how I would do that. I would start with a flat shader brush. This one is from Sigma. It's the E55 Eye Shading. And I'm going to go into, let's just do Volatile. And I am going to just pat that all over my lid. And this type of look works exceptionally well for those of us with hooded eyes because we are making the eyes appear to have more of a crease because dark colors make things recede. Light colors bring them forward, dark colors make them recede. So by placing the dark color on the lid and through the crease, we are giving the illusion of a deeper eye socket. So now I'm going to go in with a blending brush. For that, I'm going to use the Sigma E40 Tapered Blending. I'm not adding any product, but I'm just going back and forth in my crease and blending it out. So it almost looks like I have a transition color there, but I don't. So I'm just blending that out. So now I am going to take a smaller brush. This one is a Smudger 2 from Sonia G. I love this for my lower lash line. I'm going to take that same shade, Volatile, and I am going to run that under my lower lash line. At this point, if I wanted to, I could just apply mascara or maybe some eyeliner and mascara, and that would be it. My eye look would be complete. A lot of people think that when they get a new eyeshadow palette, they right away have to go in with all these different colors, use as many as possible, and that's not true. When you get a palette, pick out your favorite color. And in this palette, I felt like Volatile was the most versatile. So when you're looking at a palette, look for that shade that stands out to you. Now it might be a shimmer. A lot of times for me, the shimmer shades are the ones that stand out and draw me to that palette. They're really what makes me want to purchase that palette. So when you're looking to purchase a palette, make sure that there's something in there that is really calling to you, that you feel that you could use in a variety of different looks. So using this shade Volatile, and it could be any light brown or any taupe that you see in any eyeshadow palette, you can do what I just did quickly and easily, and you can also make it the building block to continue on to a different type of look, perhaps a more dramatic look. Perhaps you do want to add more shades to your look. You want to play around, you want to experiment. Makeup should be fun. You should play around and experiment. I always tell my viewers, and when I was working as a freelance makeup artist, I always told my clients, if you have some time on a Saturday or Sunday to sit down at your vanity and just play with your makeup and have a stack of makeup wipes nearby or a bottle of makeup remover, you can really learn some things and you can practice without having to stress about time constraints. So if you really want to learn how to apply your makeup that best suits you and your needs, then take that time to just experiment and see what works. Because I said earlier that I am always drawn to the shimmer shades, those shimmer shades are what I will often start with when I get a new palette. When I first saw the Norvina palette, the first shade that stood out to me was this one called Summer. What you can do is you can put that shade down and build around it. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a flat synthetic brush, and I didn't bring a spray bottle down here, so I just used a little water that I had in a water bottle. So I'm wetting the brush, and I am going into the shade Summer, and I'm just pressing that onto my lid. You know what? I am going to zoom you guys in a little bit more. So Summer is going on my lid in the same way that I applied Volatile to the other eye. Okay, now, because I have more mature lids, that definitely shows off some texture, so I probably wouldn't want to leave it like this. If you have younger eyes, smooth lids, you go ahead and apply a winged liner and some lashes, and this would look really, really beautiful actually. But because I don't have those smooth lids anymore, we are going to build this look up and make it look a little bit more flattering for my eyes. So now I'm going to go in with a smaller blending brush. I'm going to use the brush that actually comes in the palette. The Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow palettes have really good brushes in them. They're not the softest brushes in the world, but they get the job done pretty well. So I am going to use this brush, and I'm going to go into the shade Incense. You always want your transition shade or your crease shade to not be too dark, unless you're doing, you know, a blacked out smoky eye or something to that effect where it's really, really dramatic, or you're doing a look like we did over here, although as you saw, I did diffuse it, so it almost looks like a transition color is there. So what I'm trying to say is that you want to use a nice medium to light neutral tone in your crease as your transition color. So this shade Incense is a taupey brown. So when you're looking at your palette, look at what shade you could use as your crease color or as your diffuser color, the color that's going to diffuse whatever you put in the crease. So I'm going to go in with Incense, and I'm going to put my chin up, and I'm going to look down into my mirror, and I'm going to place this right along the top of the shade Summer. And I'm just going to go back and forth in a windshield wiper motion. So even though I did lose part of the shade Summer, it's okay. We're going to fix that in just a moment. Now you're probably wondering, well, why did you lay down the color first if you're just going to lose the color when you add the second shade? Well, that's not the case for everyone. It's the case for someone with an eye shape like mine that is more hooded. But I still like to do it this way because it just kind of tells me where to replace that shimmer color. So I'm going to go back in just with my finger, and I'm just going to place it where it sort of remains, where it was kind of peeking through that second shade. So what I could do at this point is I could just add liner and mascara. It definitely looks better than it did with just the shimmer shade alone. But now I have a couple of other options. I can decide if I want to do a halo eye, or I can decide if I want to do just more of a cat eye and bring the color on the outer corners. And I think today, because I've already placed the summer shade on the inner portion of my lid, if I was going to do a halo eye, I normally would wait until the very end to apply that shimmer. So it does depend on what type of eye look you want to do. So you definitely want to think about that as well before you start applying your eyeshadows. Think about what type of eye look do you want to do. Do you want to keep the eyes relatively simple and clean, or do you want to do a more smoked out cat eye to lift? If you have downturned eyes and you want to do some lift, then you want to put some darkness in the outer corner. Or you can do the halo eye, in which case then you would want to apply the outer and inner corners first. That's what I do at least. Then I apply the transition color, and then I apply the pop of color in the center. But because I've already placed the summer in this area, we are going to go and just sort of smoke out the outer edges. And whenever I look at an eyeshadow palette, I immediately think, what am I going to use for underneath my brow? Is there a shade for me to place under my brow? What am I going to use for the transition shade? Is there a good transition shade in this palette? What am I going to use if I want to smoke out the outer corners or give that cat eye effect? Do they exist in this palette? Because I'm a makeup artist and enthusiast, I don't need to have every single color in one palette because I have no problem going from palette to palette. But I know a lot of people, especially beginners, you're not like that. You don't have 10, 20, 30 different palettes where you're going to reach for the brown from over here and the purple from over here. That's not what you're going to do. You want to look at just one palette. People kind of get transfixed on just that one palette and forget that they can use other products in their look. But for the purposes of this video and how to work with one palette to build a look, then I'm just going to take the shade Passion, which is in my mind, really the only color that I would use. Well, I could possibly use Drama. Drama has a little bit of shimmer to it, and I prefer to keep the shimmers on the lid for a more mature eye, but you could use it on the outer corners. However, I'm going to use Passion, and this is a Sonia G Blender Pro brush, and I'm just taking a little shadow on the tip of the brush, and I'm patting it in the outer corner. And I've said this a lot on my channel, that the brushes really do make a difference. If you have smaller eyes, you want to use smaller brushes. And you don't always have to make really harsh motions with your brushes. You always want to use a really light touch when you're applying eyeshadow and build. And don't be afraid to just sort of tap. And then if you've gotten a little bit more than you wanted to, you can go back in with a blender and then blend it out. Now say I was going out for the evening and I wanted to make this eye a little bit more dramatic. Yes, I would wear this during the day. I realize for some people this is definitely more your speed, or maybe not even a shade this dark. Maybe you would only go with a very, very light brown. But for me, this is definitely an eye look. Either of these I would wear during the day. But I'm going out for the night and I want to take it up a notch. So now I'm going to take the shade Base. And this can be done for a daytime look as well. This isn't going to make that big of a difference. But for me, I like the way it gives me sort of a brow lift by taking an ivory or a white and just popping it right under the arch of my brow. And you can do that on the all matte side as well. And what's good about doing this after you've already applied your eyeshadow is that it really does help to soften the upper edge of the eyeshadow as well. And now I am going to take that shade Drama and just gently put that on the outer corner as well, but I'm not taking that up to the crease. I'm just patting it on. Really, really gently, just patting it into that area. And then I'm going to take the shade Dreamer and pop that in the inner corner of my eye. Whenever I look at a palette, I see if it has, what shade would work for the tear duct. And usually in a lot of palettes, there's either a really light matte shade that will make the inner corner pop, or if you prefer, like I do, a shimmer shade. That is usually reserved for the tear duct, or if you wanted to add a shimmer, some people still like this look of putting a little bit of shimmer under the brow. And so now I am going to take some eyeliner, because I'm turning this into a nighttime look. And I'm trying for the first time this Rimmel Wonder Wing eyeliner. It says lasts all day and night. Let's see. Of course, you could use any eyeliner you choose. You can use a liquid, you can use a gel, wing, no wing. I am so horrible at doing liner on camera. I'm liking this pencil because it's not very intense. Obviously, if you like a real intense liner, this isn't going to be for you. Now I want to show you another option with this matte eye before we sort of finish up and I put on the mascara and show you the completed looks. I want to show you how you can add drama to an all matte look as well. I'm going to go into the shade Dazzling. And please don't be afraid of reaching for a color in your palette that you're not sure is going to work. Because usually when a palette is put together, the creator of the palette, especially when you're dealing with someone like Anastasia Beverly Hills, and really with any palette I own, whether it's Tarte or Too Faced or Milani or CoverGirl, they usually will help the beginner by putting shades that will work together. So you really can't make too big of a mistake. So with the color that I currently have on my lid, which on me is pulling pretty purple, the shade Volatile is really like a taupe, a brownish taupe, but it's pulling really purple on me. We all know that shadows can do that. I am going to put on, I think I'm going to put on the shade, should I do Dazzling or Rose Gold? I think I'm going to do the shade Dazzling. And I'm just going to pop that onto my lid. So don't be afraid to apply shadows out of the order that you've been trained to do by watching YouTube videos. What we show you here is a guideline. It's not what's going to work for every single person that tries our technique, which is why you've been so frustrated, I'm sure, in the past, watching videos, copying the tutorial step by step, and not getting the exact same look. So you have to just kind of take the ideas and experiment with them on your own eye shape and your own skin tone. I know I've said experiment 10 times during this video, but that's really, really the key to finding your makeup look and making your skills, or helping your skills to improve. So now I'm going to curl my lashes and apply some mascara off camera, and I will be right back. So I just realized that I didn't put anything on the lower lash line of this eye, and you really don't need to. You can apply an eye pencil, you can apply a white liner or an ivory liner in the inner rim, you can apply a black liner if it's, if you really want to go all out for nighttime, or you can just take a little bit of the shade that we used in the crease, which was Eccentric. That's what I like to do to tie the whole look together, is I like to use whatever shade was in the crease along my lower lash lines. And I'm just using an angled brush. This is a cheapy one that I found at CVS a long time ago. It doesn't even have a name. And then I like to take the shade that I used in the outer corner, so either Drama or Passion. I am just pressing this along the outer edges of the lower lash line. So as you can see, I've built two different eyeshadow looks, took them both from a more daytime look to more of an evening look, and hopefully I've shared with you some tips and tricks on how to build that look, how I actually came to decide on those colors. That was my goal in this video. I hope that I achieved it. And if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to ask me in the comments. I do try to answer everybody. I don't always succeed, but I like to answer at least 90% of the questions. Sometimes I read the question and I can't answer right away and I mean to go back and then I don't end up going back. So I really apologize if you've experienced that, where you've asked a question and I've just completely forgotten to get back to you. But with this type of video, I know there are going to be some questions, and let me know in the comments also if you'd like me to make a part 2 on how to build the rest of the look, the cheek color, the lip color, put it all together. So let me know if that would interest you. And I think that'll do it. I hope you guys learned from this video and that you enjoyed it. If you did, I always appreciate you giving my videos a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe if you're not already a member of the Risa Does Makeup family. I would love to have you. We would love to have you. You can also find me on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. Everything is under the same name. It's all Risa Does Makeup. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again in my next video.